Hello and welcome to the channel. I hope you're having a fabulous day. If you're watching this live or shortly after it's been live, then I hope you're having a great morning. It's a wonderful spring day in Northumberland in the UK. If you're watching this as a recording, don't think that the information and the answers are irrelevant to you, because remember, time is just a construct of humanity. So there is no past, future, present, all that kind of thing. It all happens at once in a spiritual sort of way. So if you've been brought to this video, whenever this is, if this is 10 years down the line from now, if you've landed at this video, then perhaps there's an answer here for you that your spirit guide wants you to hear, or your higher self, or however you choose to explain that to yourself. Right, so what we're going to do today, quick little astrology overview, moving into a collective reading, 3-card reading for us all, and then pick a number between 1 and 12, or more than one number if you wish, and we'll do the 12-card interpretation, finishing off with questions, live questions. So if you are a subscriber to the channel, you can ask live questions in the chat, or even request a 3-card reading, which I'll get to at the end. If you're watching this as a recording, you can still put your questions in the chat. I think I will still pick them up. Or you can email them to me at naomi@skyspirit.co.uk, and I'll answer those questions tomorrow or the day after. If you're watching, I am getting to your reading. I just had something big come up yesterday, so I couldn't do it yesterday. So I will be in touch about that as well. Right, so to start with, just a few words about the planetary positions today. Today, the planet Venus, which governs your love life and your emotions, is in Aries, which is a fiery sign. So that could mean that you come across some conflict potentially when it comes to affairs of the heart. Maybe the mood between you and your significant other could be a bit spicy, might be a few arguments. Aries is also in a sextile position, sextile pattern with Pluto, which is in Aquarius. And that also means that it adds a sort of intensity to everything. And it makes any desires or any, things that you're against, it makes them feel even more pertinent to you. So it's putting an intensity on things. So that's your little word on astrology this morning. So watch out for that Aryan spiciness. Let's do a quick 3-card reading, collective reading now. Ooh, 3 of Swords, Death, and the High Priestess reversed. So that's really interesting because it's quite a strong message. So we've got the 3 of Swords, which is talking about heartbreak and despair. Death, which is the end of a cycle, a major transformation because it's a major arcana. And then we've got the High Priestess reversed, which can indicate a lack of using intuition. So I'm interpreting this today, world, because this is your collective reading, is that there's heartbreak on the cards for us with a major transformation, unless we start listening to the gut, listening to the intuition. The High Priestess has the message which is going to have to be followed to avoid this potential heartbreak and major change that will come with it. So the High Priestess teaches about using intuition, turning to those feminine abilities, rather than sort of the masculine, which is the pushing through, which is the, the fighting, the conflict, the traditionally feminine qualities, so we say, are softer. So they would be intuition, diplomacy, tact, conversation, influence. So what we're being told here, really interesting cards, is that something needs to be more tact used in order to avoid this heartbreak, major change, sweeping changes somewhere. So it's like a warning from the High Priestess for this particular situation. Now remember, this is the collective reading, so it could be applying to something on a world politics level or something like that, but it's like we're being asked to put the brakes on something. And, you know, we can always say, like, how can I influence what's happening in the world? Well, the first way that you can influence it is by being aware of it, and then by spreading information about it. Don't just accept what you're told. Question everything, have an opinion, and express that opinion, because we, you know, governments are elected in the West, at least in most countries. We do have a small say, even if our choice of people to elect is sometimes sadly lacking. Saying nothing is not an option. So that's a really interesting little collective reading. Not particularly positive, but I always say I will always tell it like it is. The tarot is not all love and light. It does have a dark side to it as well. Of course it does, because life has the dark side to it, and it has to have that, because if it didn't, then we wouldn't recognize the good times, would we? If it was all light, there would be no light. You need the shadow. You need a shadow to create those periods of light. Okay, so it's very important that we work with the shadow side of things as well. And when I say shadow, I don't mean like, you know, pure evil things. There can be things that are darker and things that aren't sort of all love light, without being evil. Evil is a different thing altogether, which we'll talk about another day, but not today, because I've waffled on for long enough, as per usual. Right, so we're going to do the 12 cards now. Pick a card between 1 and 12, or 2 cards, or 3 cards, if you would like. So I'm going to lay these down here. Trying to keep things a bit tidier this morning, because couple of mornings ago I had cards like all over the place. There wasn't enough space or anything. Still trying to get to 100 subscribers, because I've said if I get that far, then I will buy a new microphone, which would be really nice. Right, so let's go for this. Number 2, first of all, number 2, you have the Hierophant reversed. Hierophant reversed suggests that you are taking an unorthodox view of something, or you're going about getting something in an unorthodox way. So you're treading far away from the path. You're thinking outside the box. You're not following the crowd here. You're following your intuition. It's like the my way is the highway type of feeling. It's like, just be careful though, that you're not rejecting solutions just because they seem mainstream, because although mainstream is not always the way to go, and we know that, it's often the road well traveled, isn't it? So it doesn't mean to say that just because it's something that's done by the mainstream that it's always wrong. Okay, so do evaluate your choices. But this is a card that says whatever it is that you've been doing, whatever it is, this unusual approach that you've taken to achieving something, it's working out for you. So keep doing what you're doing, because it's working. Number one. Number one. That was a good card to get the stutter on there, because it's a tower, but it's reversed. Now, when the tower's reversed, it can mean that you have really almost like averted a disaster. So it can be sort of the tower can be like an accident, or it can be just a shock, or a real something that happens that really shakes you up, or changes your viewpoint, or turns something that you believed on its head. So it's like turning your belief system upside down. And when this is averted, this card is giving you a message that whatever you've done has averted a pretty desperate situation. I was going to say desperately bad, but it feels more like it's a time in your life that isn't particularly welcome, and something that you've done, you've bypassed the energy that was leading you to that time. Okay, so whatever steps that you took recently, you have been able to avert whatever sort of first world problem disaster could have potentially been milling around you. So this energy was building up. It could be, I mean, these can be things that seem to some people trivial, like you can be neglecting work, or neglecting something that you had to do, and you've just made an effort to put sort of more energy into it, and that's meant that it's the project stayed afloat, or it's led to a new opportunity, or you've been able to salvage something. Or this can mean something along the lines of, you know, you've changed your diet, you've changed your lifestyle, you've averted a health problem. So whatever it is, the steps that you have taken recently have been the right ones and in the right direction, away from a sort of more negative energy. So have a think about that, because it's always a good thing is if we don't just blunder through life, and we can actually take some sort of learning experience from what goes on around us. So if you can identify what the potential pitfall was, then you can identify exactly what you did that changed your path, if you see what I mean. And then you could put that in your toolkit, coping strategy toolkit, and then it's there in the future if you come across that situation again. You see what I mean? And it's like having that reflection and self-awareness rather than just not noticing. Take time to notice what you did differently, and then perhaps you'll put brakes on sooner and do that again in the future. Great card. Number 12. Number 12, you've got the 5 of Cups reversed. So I'm looking at this and it's thinking, like, when the 5 of Cups is this way up, it's like a feeling of loss. So you're leaving things behind. When it's this way up, I always feel like it's either what you're leaving behind needed to be left behind. So you're shedding negative energies, negative people, situations in your life that did not serve your higher purpose. So that's one way of interpreting this card, but it can also mean more literally the return of somebody to your life. So again, with it being a 1 card reading, I would be pulling your leg if I told you that I could tell just with 1 card what your individual circumstance was. Okay, that would be, you'd have to look more deeply into it. But I'm giving you the 2 options here that are really pulling to me this morning. So it's either that return of somebody into your life, return of a loved one, or return of a way of thinking. Something returns to your life, or it's leaving behind things on a positive level because they needed to be kicked to the curb. So whichever way we're looking at this card, it is a positive one. If we're looking at it and you're guessing this is the return of somebody to your life, I think the only message that I would give you as a warning from the card is, remember, when this is in its right way up, this guy's walking away, but there are 2 cups upwards, not spilling their contents all over the ground. What that means is that he was walking away, but there were things that were still positive he walked away from. So when we invert that energy, it's like if something's coming back to you, check that it's what you want. All right, before you commit to having somebody back in your life, you need to make sure that what they're bringing to the table is what you want still. Okay, because it could be that you've changed your outlook, you've changed your expectations, you've changed your sense of worth since they were not in your life. So you hold the cards, so make that clear to this person. Or if it's the other explanation, then celebrate walking away and leaving behind what no longer serves you. Please let me know how that card resonates for you, because I love that card. It's got such nuances to it in the interpretation, and it's a really strong energy, and we can all relate to that feeling of loss. So it's an interesting one. Number 11. Number 11, you've got the 6 of Wands. The 6 of Wands sees you riding into battle victorious. It's like you have taken on a lot, but you have won. You have battled through a lot. There have been a lot of things on your shoulders, and you felt like, okay, you've got quite sturdy shoulders. You've managed to deal with these things. You've kept on top of these things, but you've been spinning a lot of plates to do it. Okay, it's taken quite a lot out of you in order to do this. So this card is like, you look at the image, he's been awarded, I guess, this little wreath here, riding into battle. It's like you've won. Okay, enjoy some reward. Allow yourself to enjoy the reward of the spoils of battle. So what is it that you've accomplished? It doesn't have to be like a battle as in a confrontation, but a battle. We achieve things by battle every day, because sometimes, we have to fight to get work done. It can be financial, can even be the battle for somebody's heart. the battle of hearts and minds, that sort of thing. So what is it that you've had to work hard for, and what is it that's now securely in your lap? And I think what you also have to do is admit to yourself that you've won, because it's that it can get, when you've worked really hard for something, you almost get that like imposter syndrome, like, yeah, but I didn't really deserve it, or no, I'm not really that good, or I didn't really do this well enough. But you need to take credit for this, okay? Ditch the imposter syndrome, accept the wreath of victory, because you've achieved a lot. So bask in the glory of that for a while. It's good for the soul. Number 10, you've got the card, Major Arcana card, Strength. Beautiful card. It's a card that speaks about personal strength and courage, bravery, quiet determination. It's not strength sort of like the Chariot's, more like driving things forward at all costs. This is like softly doing the right things, making the right moves, being supportive of others, knowing that you have the strength of character to actually complete a project or to complete a situation, to see it through to its end. So this card is giving you, it's like a pat on the back to tell you that your personal power is in a really high place at the moment. So if you have got decisions that need to be made, or if you've got things that you need to sort out, which are going to take quite a lot of emotional energy, those things which are just like difficult to deal with, then your energy is at a high point at the moment. So it might be a good time to take on board those things and to either set the wheels in motion to actually make those positive changes, or to actually get the project or the situation resolved entirely, because it's one of those times where your energy is in a position to be able to do that. Because sometimes when your energy is more scattered, or when you genuinely feel less able, that's when mountains become, molehills become mountains, because they feel like insurmountable problems. So lovely card to have today. Number 10. Remember, if you're a subscriber to the channel, you can put a live question for me in the chat. Not a problem at all. Right, number 3, we have the Four of Cups. The Four of Cups is a card which is about opportunities, and it's about it's talking about, because it's cups, it's emotions, and it can be like, what are you missing the opportunity of? What is it that you've been so focused on? What is that saying? The bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. So have you been so focused on what's in the bush that you've missed what's in your hand? Is it that, you've been tunnel visioned trying to achieve something, and you've really missed the opportunities that are being presented to you? Because it's cups, it's likely to be emotional, it's likely to be a relationship, or how you are emotionally feeling about yourself or a situation. So think about the feelings. It's about your feelings, and you feel like you're missing opportunities here. It feels like either you're missing them on purpose because you've got this tunnel vision, or you're discounting opportunities that are being offered to you by somebody else. Is somebody else perhaps suggesting something to you and you're discounting it offhand? Okay, what this card's message for you is to actually give that opportunity a shot, or give that person a go, give them a chance, and look around you and be grateful for what you have, but also don't be shy of taking people up on their offers. Don't look gift horses in the mouth. Somebody offers you help or offers you something new. If you see, look at the image on here, you'll see behind this lady there is a cloud with a hand and a chalice coming out of the cloud, and it's like luck. It's like being given an opportunity. It's been given the golden chalice. Here, will you take this up? Will you accept the offer of the adventure? And you're being urged to say yes by this card. So have a look around you and look out for that opportunity as well. Number 3. Number 4, you have the King of Cups. The King of Cups is, this is a guy around you, a man or an older man, man, or the male energy of a female. And this is an emotionally mature person, somebody who has a lot of wisdom, somebody who has love in their heart, somebody who offers you advice coming from a really good place, and somebody who's very emotionally supportive of you. The King of Cups is a very paternal energy when he's this way up. All right, so look out for this person around you. It's like there's a dad or a granddad feeling wrapping their arms around you today and giving you good advice. So if it's that paternal figure that's giving you the advice, take it. Or if you've got a father or grandfather in spirit that you often speak to, then if you've got a problem on your mind, why don't you ask them about it and just sit quietly with that energy and see what comes back to you. But there's definitely this feeling of this older, nurturing energy, male energy, which is filled with love, filled with your good intentions at heart. So take note of this person or look out for this person over the next day or so. Number five, you've got the Star reversed. Now, when this card comes out, it often means that are you burning the candle at both ends? Are you looking after your spiritual, mental, and emotional health, or are you sort of putting it all out there to help somebody else and you're neglecting your own spiritual self-care? It's a card that's a little bit like, it's about a little bit of self-neglect on a spiritual level. So it feels like you need to take some time to, you know that saying, you cannot pour from an empty vessel. So if you're the person that's always trying to help other people, it's like this is a reminder that you cannot pour from an empty vessel. You need to take some time out to rebuild your own strength and to start following your own star again, because it feels like you've lost your way a little bit and you sort of, there's just clouds up there. You're not quite sure of the direction that you're going in, and you need the clouds to clear and you need to be able to see your star again. So the message of this card is to take some time to yourself, or to spend some time doing something you want to do, or buying something that you want to, or going somewhere that makes you happy. But it's about you. It's about indulging that thing that makes your soul sing, that thing that makes you want to be here, that makes you smile, and without even being able to understand why you're doing it. What is it that comes to mind when you think like that? Put some energy there, because it feels like your energy is a bit scattered at the moment, and this will do your emotional, spiritual, and mental health a lot of good. Okay, Gavin, I do see you in the chat there. I'll come to your question at the end of the reading here. Number six, you have the Nine of Pentacles. So the Nine of Pentacles is about it's about luxury. So you're enjoying the luxurious things in life. It's about independence, success, prosperity, making your own mind up, being a woman in control of your own destiny, making your own decisions, not being in a position where you have to rely on somebody else, whether that's a man or a woman or whoever that is, that you have that abundant energy in you at the moment. And it's a time when you can really trust your own insights and trust your own judgments, especially when they're about finances, money, houses, property, material things. So you've got a really good grip on things at the moment, and it feels like you're enjoying the rewards of your work. So it's like you've put the work in now. Take some time to enjoy that. If you've got some big items that you've been planning on spending on, then this is a card that's probably giving you that nudge to say, okay, the day might be the right time now to make those decisions, because it feels to me that you're clear-headed about this position. This was actually upright. So you're clear-headed about your position in that area at the moment, so you can weigh up the pros and cons of a financial decision and make the right one. So whatever you're doing, number six, remember that today what's going to make you most happy, according to this card's influence, is that domestic bliss, is spending time with people that you love. It's about spending time in the home, in the garden. Perhaps this is talking about a lovely sunny weekend spent just nurturing that spirit of the home. I don't know if you've ever noticed when you when you put work into your garden or you put it into your house, and you can literally feel the energy, just like almost like a thankful energy coming from the earth and the home. It's like just brings it all, raises it all up. So this card it's one of those influences where you feel like you want to be doing that. You really want to be in tune with your environment and with your surroundings. So let me know how that goes. Maybe it's a weekend of gardening on the cards for you. Number seven, lovely card. You have the world. The world, we're going to have to get the bong of pleasure. The bong of pleasure for the world, because it's a beautiful card. And it's a card that talks about stepping into adventure. The world is your oyster. So for the next couple of days, if you chose this card, you're really aspected to make some brilliant decisions. You're aspected to have things coming into your life. So when one thing, it's like when one door closes, another one opens. So this is the end of a cycle, but it's like things are starting to happen immediately after something's completed. So this is like a card that you see if you're, I don't know, for example, at university and you finish a degree. This is the card that you get when you're just going to have, bang, an offer to do something else straight away in front of you, or an offer to go traveling, because it's the world. It can be very literal, and it can also come up when it's to do with traveling the world. So for in that example, if you were a student and you were going to go traveling, then you might get this card, because it's like opening the doors of opportunity. Step forward into the world. The world is your oyster. As I mentioned, it is about the end of a cycle as well. So it's like it can also come up to tell you that what you've been doing, you've achieved the completion of something. Because how often do we get that feeling where we're not quite sure when something's finished, or if we should just keep flogging away at it and keep going? I do this when I'm painting, like the amount of times I've been doing a painting and I've thought, right, yeah, that's finished, but I'll just do a little bit more, and then I'll just do a little bit more, and then I've ruined it because I actually was completed, and then I've just pushed a little bit too far. So if you've got this card today, think about what's finished, what do you put to bed, and where do you go next? Where is that opportunity that's knocking on your door? Because this is an opportunity, a plenty time for you. Choose wisely, because there might be many paths open to you. Lovely card, that. Number eight, Six of Swords. Six of Swords talks about moving away from a time of trouble. With it being swords, it's quite possibly conflict or confrontation or friction with other people, or it could be a time where you've just felt sort of at odds and ends with yourself. So like frustrated, like, you know, that you just don't feel right in yourself, you're irritable, or you don't feel you're in the right location. You've not felt at home somewhere. So whatever the Six of Swords indicates, and as I've said, it's a one card reading, so it's really, it would be too speculative of me to actually nail down a situation further. But whatever it is, whether it's conflict, internal or external, then this card is telling you that the time has come when you're moving away from it. Now, this can be quite literal as well, because it can mean an actual physical move. So it's a card that comes up when people are moving home, when they're traveling abroad, when they're heading for pastures new, because the illustration is somebody being taken by a boatman across a great expanse of water to a new land. So this is a card that tells you to let go of those things in the past that no longer serve you, because yes, we are all a product of everything that we've been through. So the good times, the bad times, the boring times, they all work together to create who we are today. But we have to know when it's time to leave things behind, because I think there's very little more personally destructive than being stuck in the past, or being stuck to guilt about something that you've done, or, you know, that wondering, what if this had happened? What if I'd stayed with him? What if I hadn't done this? It's time to cut all this, take up these swords, chop, 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 chop the ties that bind to the past, and push off for new, for lands new, for places far off, okay, because you're leaving the trouble behind. So go with that flow. Lovely card, that. I love that card. Finally, number eight. Do you know, it's funny, I often mention a card in a previous, like as we're doing the earlier cards, and then it pops up. It's like my tarot listened all the time. So this is the Chariot, number 8. So the Chariot invites you to look around you and to see, where are you being very driven? So is your energy going in a positive forward motion, which it would be suggested, because this card is in the upright position. It suggests a very positive interpretation of your forward drive. So it feels like you're achieving quite a lot. There's quite a lot of progress, there's quite a lot of forward motion. But what there is that little bit of the Chariot is always almost on the verge of being out of control. So it's like the Chariot sort of urges you just to make sure you're pulling back on those reins a little bit, and make sure you have the horses, not giving the horses their heads. And in fact, they're not horses, are they? They're sphinxes, but you get what I mean. It's like, do not allow them to run away with you, because it's easy to imagine that Chariot like so out of control and going so fast that they're sort of knocking things flying. This is a card that also talks about polarity as well, because you've got the black and white Sphinx. So it's talking about, are you a person that's doing something that you can see something as either all good or all bad? It's either definitely or absolutely not. It's you're missing out on the nuances, the gray areas. So are you driving towards a goal with so much power and so much monofocus on that end goal that you're missing out the details? So it's a card that invites you just to pull back on the sphinxes and just take a look around you, and make sure that you are crossing the T's and dotting the I's, and make sure that it's not something that you're just hurtling towards a decision and you should have taken a little bit more time to do it. So I'd like you to mix this a little bit with the energy of where are we? Where is it? Strength, because strength is that more gentle forward motion, more deliberate moves, whereas this sort of energy is pushing forward, but pushing quite frantically. Okay, so just try to rein it in a bit. Rely on the positive strengths, your integrities, your integrity. What is the word I'm looking for? What your main strengths are, your resilience, your ability to make decisions. So use the energy of this card, but the mental ability really of more to do with the strength card. Okay, I hope that helps. If that resonates with you, or if it doesn't, then let me know, please. You can always put a message in the live chat, or you can email me, naomi@skyspirit.co.uk. I'm trying to go live every weekday morning at 10:30. If you subscribe, put your notifications on, because then you'll get a notification when I'm going to go live. And it means that if you need a bit of extra guidance for this particular day, then you can drop in and ask me a question live. And if you don't, then you can just ignore the notification. But there's always the option to join in. If you're catching this show at a later date, as I said, take the messages anyway, because there is no such thing as a sort of linear time when it comes to this sort of thing. Okay, right. Gavin, let's have a look. So I hope you are. My question to you and your cards today is, what unconscious patterns are influencing my current situation? Okay, right. I'm just going to pull quick 3 cards for you, Gavin. Okay, right. So you've got the Queen of Pentacles reversed, the Ace of Pentacles upright, and the Fool. So the Queen of Pentacles reversed. It talks about dependence on other people, or dependence on an old way of life. So it feels like you are this is the thing about finances. It's about finances and material possessions and your sense of security. So it feels like your unconscious pattern is to cling to an old way of living, or an old way of being when it comes to how you conduct your finances, how you live materially. So it's like you're going through Groundhog Day in that respect. And it feels like you want to break out of that pattern of doing things, because the card next to your reverse Queen of Pentacles is the Ace of Pentacles, which talks about new beginnings, especially with new jobs, new finances, new ways of thinking materialistically. So it feels like you're moving from a pattern of dependence on an old way of being, and you're really wanting to push forward into a new sort of a new status quo, a new paradigm of how you live and how you're funding your I don't know, it's not funding your lifestyle. It sounds like you're on a yacht. Are you on a yacht? But you know how you're managing the household budget, or how how work is going. Is there something new that's sort of presenting itself to you? Are you looking to start a new chapter of life in that respect? And the card next to your Ace of Pentacles is the Fool, which is, again, it's a card about stepping into a new adventure. If you have a look at this card, the Fool is he's a young man, and he's stepping out into off. He's actually stepping off a cliff, so don't try that. But he's off. He goes with his little pack on his back and his dog at his heels, and he's full of the energy of new things, new beginnings. The Fool's number, if you're into the numerology of things, is 0. And 0 is like a master number because it means that the potential is to go anywhere. So what the card is telling you is that you have the potential for this new beginning to do with the finances that you've been, that financial pattern, stuck pattern, unconscious pattern of being stuck in a certain way, to actually go into this new beginning, this new thing. You've got the energy at the moment to step forward, and there's multiple options open for you. Okay, so if the spring equinox energy, Gavin, has been making you consider starting a new project, or taking a new outlook on life as it comes to your finances, material, work things, that sort of side of life, then this is the time to step forward as the Fool and go into that new period of life and that new project, which is indicated by Ace of Pentacles. One word of warning with the Fool, although it's a beautiful card, talks about that spirit of adventure. The Fool can also be a little bit impulsive. So if that's you, then you always look at the picture on here. See that the dog is barking at the Fool's feet here to stop him from jumping over the cliff. And what that's symbolic of is it's saying, make sure that you take advice from people before you step forward, okay? Because you've got friends or advisors around you, symbolized by the white dog here, who are in a position to give you some good advice, which are going to help you on your journey with this new project or this new way of thinking. Okay, so it's like look before you leap. So consult the little white dog in the form of friends or colleagues or people that are close to you about your plans before you sort of just step off into that adventure. But yeah, really beautiful set of 3 cards there, talking about new beginnings and your ability to go forward from your current dependence on that old way of thinking and old way of being. I hope that has helped, Gavin. Thank you for being here. Thank you all for being here. It's been lovely to talk to you this morning. Catch me in the morning at 10:30. Subscribe to the channel and stick your notifications on. I'm happy to take questions live from subscribers. Have a wonderful day ahead and stay weird.